Your body isn't betraying you. It is just protecting you and keeping you safe. It doesn't know yet that you are in a safe environment, and you can learn to lead it, to believe it. Welcome to Reclaim Your Voice, the podcast for business owners who are ready to be heard, speak on stages and podcasts, and to become genuinely known for what they do. I'm Savanna Madden, confidence and speaking coach for founder-led businesses, and I help you find your voice, own your expertise, and speak in a way that attracts the right clients and opens the right doors. Here we talk about finding your voice, building the confidence to share your message, and doing the real work that gets you recognised by the people you're meant to serve. If you've got something important to say and you want the world to actually hear it, you're in the right place. This is Reclaim Your Voice. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Reclaim Your Voice. It's your host, me, Savanna Madden, confidence and speaking coach for female founders. And I cannot wait to talk to you about this topic today. Let's go. You've prepared. You know this topic inside out. You could talk about it over a coffee for an hour without even missing a beat. And then you step up, whether that's on stage, a podcast studio, in front of a room, leading a workshop, pitching something, wherever you need to share your expertise. And suddenly your hands are shaking, your voice goes tight, your mind goes blank, and you're thinking, what is wrong with me? But let me tell you this, there is nothing wrong with you, but something is happening. And today I am going to talk about exactly what that is and what you can do about it. So your nervous system doesn't always know what you know. It doesn't know the difference between a threat versus a speaking gig. It's just doing its job. The shaking hands, the racing heart, the shallow breath, the mind that suddenly goes completely blank. These aren't signs that you're not ready. They're signs that your body thinks that you're in danger. And the problem may not be that you're actually nervous. The problem is that nobody has ever taught you how to work with your nervous system instead of fighting it. And that's where quite a lot of speaking advice falls flat. Give me £1 for the times I've heard people say, just breathe. Picture them in their underwear. Fake it till you make it. It doesn't work. It just doesn't, because it doesn't even touch what is actually happening in your body. So I would love to talk about the 5 things that I see most often. There are loads more, but these are definitely the most common. Because again, I would definitely put a bet on the fact that at least 2 or 3 of these things are going to feel really familiar. So the first one is a shaking voice. And this one is almost always about tension held in your throat, which is directly connected to shallow breathing. And it's often connected as well to a deeper fear underneath it all, which could be, what if I make a fool of myself? What if I get this wrong? What if people judge me? You know, all these common limiting beliefs and elements of imposter syndrome that many of us face when we're in these sorts of environments. The second one is shaking hands, and this is adrenaline looking for somewhere to go. Your body has literally flooded itself with energy to help you perform, and it has just got nowhere to go. And the third one is speaking way too fast. So your nervous system is trying to get you through the activity as quickly as possible. It's trying to protect you, but the effect is that you lose your audience because you're speaking so quickly, and maybe lose yourself, maybe even lose your place. This can also be an addition to why we forget our words. Which brings me on to the fourth one. Forgetting what you're saying. Mid-sentence, it could be at the end of a sentence and you're like, what's the next thing I'm going to say? So this is cortisol affecting your recall. And it's one of the reasons I always teach structure over script. Because when you have a structure to come back to, you often don't need to remember every single word. And actually, I highly recommend not trying to remember every single word, because that is most of the time where we come unstuck. And the fifth one is breathing in the wrong places. So shallow chest breathing. So instead of breathing from your diaphragm, people tend to be breathing from their chest. And this one affects everything: your voice, how you're perceived, the authority that you carry in the room. And using a lot of those things that we've just talked about really coincide beautifully with the voice framework that I use with my clients, particularly the V, which stands for vocal techniques. And I imagine that if you're listening to me say that for the first time, you might be a bit like, well, she is from a performing arts background. What's she going to make me do? You know, we're going to be doing lots of drama or acting warm-ups. And some of them definitely do coincide, but I'm not going to be doing things with you that are very out of the ordinary. All the vocal techniques that I do are very normal, very common sorts of things. But I would say just give it a little bit of a twist. So before we can talk about what you say, we have to talk about how your body is holding you. So there are 3 things. We've just covered 5 common issues that people tend to have when they're showing up in their environment where they need to share their expertise. But I would love to give you 3 tools that you can take away with you today that are genuinely useful that you can put into practice straight away. And you may have a speaking opportunity this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, whenever it is taking place, you can use these tools. So the first thing is to regulate your nervous system. And I bet you've heard that time and time again. But the example I gave earlier where people just give useless advice like just breathe is what I just said. It is useless. So no, just take a deep breath, just breathe. None of this. We want to be really specific. So the thing that we want to focus on is to try an extended exhale. So you're going to breathe in for 4 counts and then hold your breath for 2 counts and then breathe out for 6 or 8, depending on your capacity, right? So breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, and then breathe out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or for 8, as I said, depending. I would recommend doing this when you are stationary, so you're not sort of doing anything where you're exerting energy, and just be really careful if you're driving or operating any heavy machinery or anything like that, because if you do it quite a few times, you might start to feel incredibly relaxed. And they are maybe not the best locations for that. However, this is something that you could do just before the record button gets pressed, just before you step on stage, and no one needs to know that you are doing it. You could be doing it side of stage, in a bathroom cubicle, at your desk, all of those sorts of places. The second tip for you is to actually ground your body. And again, people say things like, you know, just stand up straight or like push your feet into the floor, but it's actually having that full awareness where your feet are flat on the floor and you actually feel your weight through your feet. And if you're speaking on stage and you like to wear heeled shoes, you can still do this by pushing through the ball of the foot and through the heel of the foot. You could also shake your hands out if you need to. You could roll your shoulders a few times. And this really works because it brings you back into your body through what is called proprioception. And that is your body's awareness of where it is in space. So when you're up in your head, you know, just thinking about all the things that could possibly go wrong, you're not actually in your body. And really grounding, closing your eyes also really helps. This brings you back. Obviously, you would need to be standing up to do this or sat like I am right now if you're watching on YouTube, you know, in a chair, and then my legs are sort of at a 90-degree angle and I would be pushing them really firmly down into the floor. I would also pair the breathing exercises with this at the same time, and you want to be really focusing on diaphragmatic breathing. So when you're breathing in, you're expanding. I want you to visualize that when you are blowing up a balloon, the balloon expands as you put air into it. So as you inhale, your belly would expand, and then as you exhale, your belly then deflates. So that is where you're using your diaphragm to breathe rather than breathing up in your chest. And the third one, I am going to say this, is to anchor your identity. And I want to be really clear about what I mean. This isn't you going, I just need to like step into my new identity. I really do believe in that. I feel like we're always evolving as our business grows. And And I'm a massive believer in affirmations as well, but I want you to be factual about this. One sentence about who you are and why you belong in that room, something that is factual. I bet you could find at least 4 pieces of information to back that up as to why it's factual. So I've helped X amount of clients to do Y. I know what I'm doing. I know this. Loads of examples that I could go into right now, but it is that simple. That's it. And that is actually part of the O in my voice framework, which stands for ownership. Obviously, we go into way more detail than this, but that's the premise. And when you own your expertise, your body then follows suit. Yes. So as soon as you start speaking to yourself in a more positive way, your posture starts to change, your facial expressions start to change, your stance is different, you use your gestures differently. But these are all other things that I would go into in more detail. And there's a real difference between white-knuckling, as I like to call it, through nerves. Every single time you have any type of speaking opportunity and actually shifting your relationship with speaking altogether, it's incredible because I've watched clients come to me completely convinced that they were just not a natural speaker or not a confident person, and that some people either had it or they didn't. You know, apparently you're supposed to have some sort of special sauce to be able to speak in front of people. And that is just not the case. What I know after years of this work is it is not about being a natural. It's like the confidence myth that you could be born confident. No, no, double no. You can grow it like a muscle. It's exactly the same. Speaking in front of people is a technique. There are loads of tools to help you to be able to do it with a lot more confidence. And not only having the confidence and the tools to be able to do it, but having someone in your corner that is there to support you and believes in you and is going to be cheerleading you every step of the way. And my voice framework exists because managing nerves is never about just one thing. It's never just one isolated incident. It's your vocal work. It's the ownership of your message. It's the identity and the internal confidence that lives underneath all of that. It's how you craft what you say, and it's how you deliver it and express it to the people that are in your audience. It's a whole picture, right? And when you have all of that in place, you don't have to start from scratch every single time. So here's the reframe that I want to leave you with today. Your body isn't betraying you. It is just protecting you and keeping you safe. It doesn't know yet that you are in a safe environment, and you can learn to lead it, to believe it. And if you would like to go deeper into this work, or you feel like you've been really struggling with overcoming nerves or limiting beliefs, but know that you've got an incredible message and fabulous expertise to share, then I have 2 ways that we can work together. One of them is my one-to-one container, which is also called Reclaim Your Voice. And shortly, if you're listening to this in real time, I have a group program coming that I am really excited about. And if you want to find out more about both of those ways of working with me, you can come and follow me on Instagram at I am Savanna Madden, and make sure that you get my free gift, which is in the show notes, so that you can be on my email list, because that's where everything lands first. But for now, keep showing up, keep grounded, and keep doing the work that lights you up. And I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here and for listening to this episode of Reclaim Your Voice. If today's conversation resonated, head to the show notes where you'll find my free audio gifts. And if this episode helped you in any way, it would mean so much if you shared it, rated or reviewed the show. That support helps these conversations reach the people who really need them. You can also watch the full episode over on our YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next one.